right? In order to kind of understand the complexity of the brain, it's helpful to kind of think about it in these little pieces or parts. And so just like how, right, there's this thought of like left brain does something, right brain does something. Half your brain doesn't turn on and off, right, in order to do something. Our brains are always active, just different areas get more activated than others in order to do certain tasks. And so this, even I'm not going to quiz you on this. This is a very complex slide. But the purpose of it with the arrows is to kind of show just how complex these circuits are. This is like a simplified circuit. There's a lot of other things happening at the same time, but just to kind of highlight, right? Like it's not like, right, when I'm planning and organizing, I'm only using my frontal lobe, or when I'm remembering or speaking, I'm not just using my temporal lobe. Um, for like working memory, right, where we see a lot of like a construction zone, a lot of difficulty with kiddos, especially, is their ability to kind of sustain attention, right, to pay attention and concentrate on something, and then, right, make a really good memory out of it. And so what this shows is that the front part of our brain, so if we look at the image on the slide, all the way on the left-hand side, the prefrontal cortex, we don't need to necessarily know the name of it, right? But the front part of the brain, we need that in order to pay attention. We have to be able to kind of shut off other distractors and pay attention to the thing that's happening. So like right now, as I talk to you, your prefrontal cortex, or the front part of your brain, is focusing on what we're saying. Then there's a whole lot of parallel processes that happen from that. I'm paying attention, and now it goes into what we call Broca's or Wernicke's phonological loop. Big name, we don't need to know the name, but basically from paying attention, it's now going into the temporal lobe to try to figure out, okay, what is that person saying? And I'm trying to make meaning out of it. Then at the same time, right, it's also going to another part of my brain, my parietal lobe, to think about, has this happened before? Is this similar to something I've known or done before? If so, cool. I'm now going to kind of attach that memory to it, because we like to, as humans, like make meaning out of things. So it's giving us context for what we're hearing. So maybe as I'm talking to you about the brain, you might go, oh, okay, I'm now understanding what she's saying. She's talking about the brain. I'm now going to my kind of memory part and starting to think about, has this been talked about before? What do I already know about the brain, and providing the context? And then also, maybe as you think, I do this a lot, as I think about what someone's saying, I kind of visualize the words or visualize the image. So that means the back part of my brain is now activated, and it's using my kind of visual sketch pad to kind of help organize things. So all these things are happening, right, in order to pay attention, and then it goes boop, memory file into the hippocampus. So all that to say, right, there's a lot of circuitry and parallel processes happening at the same time. And so if there's like an inefficiency in any of those processes, right, it's going to feel like you're slowed down. You're going to, there's lots of different points where you can get kind of distracted on, in a sense, too. And so thinking like with kiddos, if we know this front part is a construction zone, it just is until they're, I think, like in their like early 20s. It's just going to be a construction zone for a while. And so thinking, right, if all these things have to happen right in order for someone to actually be able to pay attention, that's a lot of things that have to happen right, and a lot of little things or blips in the radar that can happen along the way that can kind of disrupt someone's ability to pay attention and eventually create a memory. So it's a symphony of circuits. That's how I think about it. And again, I hope you all don't stress out with the names, but the main piece, right, is just that there's a lot of circuits and things happening all at the same time, that it's just like a symphony. You have to have all the different pieces or musicians playing, right, at the right time in a certain way in order for it to sound nice.